Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time. I feel bad for not uploading, but there's nothing I can do. It was just been a waiting game on waiting for stuff to come in, parts, all that. But we finally have some big progress coming on the Blazer. So today we're headed to Chris Duncan Race Cars in Chandlerville, Illinois to get some chassis work done. Not some, a lot of chassis work done. So this is a big deal for me. I've never ever gotten to this point or never reached this point. So this is a new experience. I'm really excited. So we'll see you there, and we're gonna interview Chris and Amanda once we get there and talk about a little bit how their shop came about and just like the history of Chris Duncan Race Cars and stuff like that. I actually have one more thing I want to show you. Don't mind the train in the background. This is my new tow rig that I got. She is looking spiffy. Probably looks weird seeing it with the front end on it too. Kind of rusty on the YouTube stuff right now just because I haven't uploaded a video in quite some time. I think the last time I actually uploaded anything was 3 to 4 months ago. Like I said, I do apologize for that. It's not intentional. I just didn't want to upload random BS, you know what I mean? Enough of me yapping. Let's get on the road. Alright guys, I don't know if I remember telling you in like the previous video of when I mentioned a chassis shop that I was potentially going to. I'm not going to name names because the guy pissed me off with how he treated me. But so we're going to keep the names to nothing. When I got this Trailblazer, I got off this guy named Caleb. Me and Caleb are actually really good friends now. I talk to him practically every day. I'll insert a picture of his car once I edit this video. He's got a nice, what is it, Trans Am, or it's a 3rd gen Camaro. And he was looking to get chassis work done. He actually hit up Motion Raceworks and he wanted to know what local chassis places in the area could get him in, or whatever the case may be. Got an email back from him, and I was also curious too, so I was like, hey, when you know, let me know so I can email those places as well. So there's 3 chassis shops that got back to him: Chris Duncan Race Cars, More Race Chassis, and I can't remember the third one. Maybe it was just 2. I can't remember. You know, took that information, emailed them myself, and the first place I hit up was More Race Chassis. They got back to me, I think the day after or whatever, but they never got back to me on like answering some of my questions I had and stuff like that. And then Chris Duncan Race Cars got back to me, and they got back to me in like 20 minutes. Which I was not expecting at all, and they were like very responsive. I was like, okay, you're already off to a good start right there. We talked for the whole day and all that, and then came up with a game plan. And then it was about 2 or 3 months ago, I went down there. They wanted to see the Blazer in person to see what they're getting themselves into, because I sent them a whole bunch of pictures, but obviously pictures can only do so much for when you're doing stuff like this. So took it down, had a game plan. And all the chassis, not all the chassis shops, I've only been to one chassis shop, I don't know what I'm talking about, but the one chassis shop I went to in town, they said they could get me in during the fall of I think it was this year or next year. And then More Race Chassis, when they got back to me on a timeline when they could get me in, that was pretty much another year out. So 2 out of the 3 places that I contacted were a year out, and I was like, with my luck, I'm gonna go to this place and they're gonna tell me the same thing. But that was the opposite. So when I got there, it was completely different compared to the first place I went to. They were really ecstatic to work on something different. The other place, they didn't really give a shit because, oh, I didn't bring in a pro mod or some very typical car that they work on. So that was already a good step in the right direction for that. So yeah, when I was down there and, took a tour of their shop and all that, they welcomed me with open arms. Like, they weren't like stuck up douchebags or anything like that, which was really nice because, I mean, my prior experience, I was like, oh, since, they were like that, most of the chassis shops are probably going to be like that too, But these guys were the total opposite. They're very cool, like I said. Yeah, and they treat me like family, and I wasn't expecting that. It was just a big curveball. But yeah, we got talking and all that, and they're like, yeah, we can get you in May. And I was like, hold on, I heard this before. Is this May of this year or May of next year? And they're like, no, this year. I was like, all right, sign me up. How much is it to hold a spot? And then that's how I found, or that's the story on why we're going there. But yeah, that's a little about how I found out about Chris Duncan. And once we get there, I'm gonna wait to record and get everything unloaded and all that, you know, once everything's all squared away. And then I'm gonna interview Chris and Amanda and, you know, give you a little history about how they started and all that stuff. So I didn't write anything down, so it's going off the rip. I'm not an interview person. So yeah, I'll see you when you get there.